G'day and welcome to Tasmanian Bus Journeys. My name's Pete and today I'm standing here in Mount Street, Burnie. Yeah, we're going to catch this Route 747 from Burnie to Queenstown. It's about a 3-hour trip, give or take. Weather's closing in a bit, but I reckon it should be a beaut one. Here we go.
This is Australia and this is Tasmania there, below the mainland. We're going to be on the west coast today. We're starting in Burnie and going down the Murchison Highway all the way down to the major town in Queenstown. So the first town we start from, well, the city of Burnie. We go to Waratah, turn off to the town of Tullah, Rosebery, a mining town, as is Zeehan, and finally ending up in Queenstown. So the bus service today is the 747 service from Burnie, departing at 3 p.m. The transit time to the Waratah turnoff is 50 minutes. The bus gets to Burnie terminus nice and early. It's actually got route 748 on it. It should be 747 because the 748 is an extension of the Queenstown run we're doing. Well, nice bus today, but this is the sort of bus we used to have in the past, and this is some Mount Lyell buses. You can see the trouble they would have had with very old roads. Of course, the train played a major role. This service was called the West Coast. It had passenger carriage and a lot of freight there as well. Zeehan station is shown there, and if you used to travel by train, it used to take 11 hours to travel from Burnie to Queenstown. You had to change twice and use 3 different rail companies. Bit simpler today, just a 3-hour bus trip. So here we start off at Mount Street, and the first thing we do is do a right-hand turn into Catley Street. Now, this is an important place because we swing around and we pass the departing stops for the Northwest Express bus going towards Devonport and the Wynyard bus going in a westerly direction. There's also other buses on the other side of the bus station there in Catley Street that take you all the way around the upper parts of Burnie. So there's these suburbs on a hill above Burnie, so it's a really handy place to be. Catley Street, we turn, you see more or less the middle of the CBD there, and we turn right into Wilson Street. Very quickly we return to Mount Street, and this time we're going up the hill. You can just see the last little bits of the port there on the extreme left, and our last glimpses of Bass Strait as we rapidly climb up. Well, before we know it, we're in the country, and beautiful agricultural land just past the settlement of Ridgeley. Now, one thing we've been looking out for is the railway line. You can see the railway line, the West Coast railway line between Burnie and Rosebery there. It carries freight nowadays, and so no longer a passenger service. The bus provides a very good service. We took a still just to show you the better railway line there, and the excitement of a railway crossing as we cross the railway line. No gates or barriers there, but we can see that quite clearly, and we plunge into the West Coast proper. So after about 50 minutes, we come to this really exciting spot where we might go to the township of Waratah on request. You never know whether or not there's people on the bus for Waratah. And so we come off to the Waratah turnoff, and I say, yes, we are turning to the Waratah turnoff, and we're pausing there, and we're turning, and it's lots of great excitement. Finally, we'll get to go through Waratah, because I've been on this bus on 4 occasions and never gone to Waratah, and on this occasion it looked like we were going there, but we were just turning into a facility there, very wet. You can see it's very, very wet, and we were just waiting for other passengers on this occasion.
At the Waratah turnoff to pick up school children from a school bus who will then go to Rosebery.
Great chance to get good video footage of the bus waiting for the connecting school bus service. We didn't have to wait too long before we knew it. The school bus was there and gone, and we'd got some students on the service, which is very efficient, transferring students and people around, and off we go. So our next stop is from the Waratah turn-off, and it goes to Tullah. The transit time there is just 40 minutes. Now, most of the west coast is very wet and very green, but here's a section where after 5 months of drought earlier in the year there was a bushfire, and that swept through the areas. Rather unfortunate, but most of the west coast is very green. So before we know it, we've reached Tullah. Nothing seems to be too long, with loads of lovely scenery to look at. A very important stop at Tullah. It's halfway, and it's an opportunity for us to have a comfort stop. So we pull into that, and whilst I'm personally doing that, one of the guys I was travelling with took a few snaps of the bus patiently waiting. And here I am charging out.
And back on the bus.
So our next trip is from Tullah to Rosebery. Quite a short hop, a 20-minute hop for us there. So we come into Rosebery, a significant mining town. It's got a population of about 700 people, and there you can see the top pub, which is well renowned for its delightful food. We're going through the main area. Rosebery, always passengers on and off there, a popular spot. And we now pulling into the key stop of Rosebery here, and a chance to get off, yes.
All right, let's have a little look here at Rosebery. Here we are, bus at Rosebery. Pretty awesome. Stopped at Rosebery, nice place.
Okay, our very last portion of the route goes from Rosebery to Queenstown via Zeehan, and the transit time here is 70 minutes. I realised as soon as we left Rosebery it was getting very dark indeed. You could still see the sort of man ferns and shrubbery, and with a bit of a trick, but fortunately the light got a little bit better as we come into our next destination, Zeehan. Now the bus doesn't go through the historic centre of Zeehan, it gets to sort of the outskirts of the business area before stopping. So if you wanted to see the middle of Zeehan, you'd have to get off and walk. Not a good idea in the dark and the wet as it was, but at least it provides that service every day, and it's a regular service and goes through it. So we were now heading up down the road, and our next stop was our final destination of Queenstown.
Well, here we are in Queenstown. It's a wild, wild rainy night. We've pulled in here. End of the journey here to Queenstown. We've got off the bus here, spot on time. Bus is now going to go onwards to Strawn and back, so the bus driver's still got to do some work. absolutely pelting it down here, but we had a really nice trip, saw heaps, and now we just look forward to a very nice dinner somewhere. Oh well, okay, well, thanks for watching.
The bus Burnie to Queenstown runs every day of the year. It's great. Weekday buses depart Burnie at 2:50 or 3 o'clock, 4:15 on Saturdays, 6 o'clock on Sundays. Now the return bus from Queenstown, or it actually leaves Queenstown in the morning, 8:20 daily weekdays, 9:20 on Saturday, 2:15 on Sundays. Oh, the cash fare. One way to Queenstown, adults, $36.60. Concessions half that price, and for both fares you get 20% off with a green card. It's really important you do book with Tassielink, because then the drivers and Tassielink will look after you, make sure everything goes well. Here's the green card in the bottom. You can get that from Tassielink or Metro Tasmania. Please subscribe and like and all that, and hope to see you next time.